What is going on YouTube? Hidden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the S&P 500, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. As you guys know, the S&P 500 has been closed Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and today will be the first day that they open back up in about 15 minutes from the time of recording this video. Now, we saw some interesting things happening over this, let's say, 3-day weekend break, Memorial Day on Monday here. Mainly, the main focus was the fact that Bitcoin managed to explode up quite substantially from its bottom 3 days ago. I believe this might have been on Friday. We're up about 12.5%, 12.37%. And if we just look at what happened yesterday, you can see we managed to surge at a high of 9.5%, which is pretty incredible. And we actually managed to close above a major resistance. So this is good news. Now, I'm not going to be buying in just yet into Bitcoin because we're still inside a massive descending fractal. As you guys know, you can see the descending fractal here, and consistently when we do retest top resistances within this descending fractal, the prices typically tend to bounce and dump. This is on numerous retests. So you can see here in the past, this is 3 retests they dumped. So it's like, why risk us buying in again here with the or why buy in here with the chance that we hit up and then dump? Now, there are a few things you can do. We have to still let this play out. I want to play this as conservative as we can because we've taken like 1 to 2 losses prior on trades. So we did, yes, close above here. This is good news. You can still buy in for a 4-hour short, long. This is extremely aggressive. I don't recommend it, but there's a good chance we will rally up to this and retest this resistance here. However, what ideally makes more sense is we should wait patiently over the next day or two to see how we play out once we retest this resistance. If we can close us above this resistance, something that we haven't done since early March here, then there's a very big chance that we close above and we will start to actually trend upwards to its moving average, which we always at some point move back up to. You can see in the past here, we hit a resistance up here, the moving average at 45K, and just in the consolidation that we had, we eventually reached it closer to 43K, but we were very close. And you can see we are quite a whiles away from this resistance here. So just from this alone is a 25% run. And if we buy in right at the point of breakout, it's about 20%, 19.5%, which is great if you ask me. So we have to let this play out a little bit longer. Ethereum doesn't look too good. We're now back inside our sideways channel, which is a good thing. And XRP really didn't get the massive movement that we saw Bitcoin had. So we're pretty much just kind of teeter-tottering sideways for a little bit right now. So we are going to be looking at these cryptocurrencies, what to do moving forward here. And hopefully the S&P 500 can start to trend upwards. We'll see how this goes. Otherwise, definitely make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and let's dive into today's episode. All right, guys, now before we dive into the technical analysis, once again, I just wanted to briefly remind you that I do have a new YouTube channel. This is for finance, as I've tried to combine it here on the channel with you guys, and it seems to give obviously more of an interest in crypto. So we're separating the two. This is my new YouTube finance channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're at almost 400 right now. I am going to be doing a giveaway for some money or something like that. But definitely make sure to check this out. New video dropping this week. Very cool. But make sure to check out these other ones, as it is quite important. And there's a lot of good topics here that we do talk about here. The videos haven't been doing too bad, honestly, for just starting this channel a couple of weeks ago here. So definitely make sure to check this out. Link down in the description below. I do appreciate the support. Now, diving into the technical analysis, let's start. Oops, did not want to do that. Let's start with the top 10 cryptos. You can see we're actually up to 1.31 trillion in crypto or global crypto market cap at 3.58%. Cryptos are starting to move up. This is good. Unbelievably, Cardano is exploding here. And hopefully we can see this happen with the other cryptocurrencies. I feel like this may be foreshadowing the next movement to come within the major cryptos. Cardano's just leading the way right now. Really, we've been consolidating for quite some time within Bitcoin and these other cryptos. To give you an exact date, we've had about, not price range, I just want to go to date range here. We've had about, if we start, 21 days, almost a month now, 3 weeks of just trading sideways, just sideways consolidation, flatlined out. Nothing you could have traded inside of this would have been profitable. I mean, you could have bought in at a bottom and swung it up for a long position, or shorted it from retesting this resistance to the downside here. But because of how slow and how little volume there is in here in movement, any sort of buy-in we had to long or short is honestly getting wrecked, and we lost money, which is, as if it's a very small amount. So I'm really not worried here, as we do have stop losses that we put. But the main thing we're looking for, as you guys can see here, is breakouts above or below this resistance. Had we have closed below here, there would have been a very good chance that we would have continued to correct lower. But you can see we're in a major descending fractal here. Major descending fractal here that's continuously forming some sort of stair-stepping pattern. Now, we don't know yet if we're going to break through this and break bullish, or we're going to reject off this and continue this. All we know is that these descending fractals do have a bullish bias, which means at the end of this, drop here, we should see a run to the upside like this. Very similar to the S&P, which is in a descending fractal. Very similar pattern here, and you can see we retested and broke bullish. Whether this you want to call was a double bottom, just starting it like this. Here's the double bottom. Here's the neckline right here. We broke through it, and now we're starting to trend upwards. So we should continue this run back up. We should continue to get back inside of here. We should continue to get even higher up to here. So very exciting to see that. We have to let this continue to play out right now. But this should maybe influence the rest of the cryptos to start to steep back up. No, not a bullish run to the upside. I even think that if we saw a recovery on the S&P, it's only going to be temporary until we can get more confirmation and more fluidity within the stock market and the Feds as to their plans moving forward here. So there's also the thing to consider is just because the S&P is going to continue, if possible, to run up doesn't necessarily mean Bitcoin and crypto are going to do so. Now, this does mark a bottom here, and you can see on the weekly for Bitcoin that we have become oversold. And the interesting thing is we have in the past here, I want to go back to 2017. Once we did hit a bottom here, even though you guys have to understand, even though we hit a bottom doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see a bullish recovery. We did see some. We did trend upwards, but it took a while. I mean, I feel like a lot of people still think maybe we mark a bottom and see a massive bull run to the upside here. No. We had a bottom in 2018, the end of 2018. We could practically say 2019. So all of 2019, all of 2020 into 2021. I'd say maybe end of 2020. So it's been maybe 2 years marking the bottom of Bitcoin here for a run to the upside. Now, honestly, this was a great buying opportunity because even then, if you just held on, you would have made tons of money here. So it could be a very similar situation with what's going on right now because we're oversold. So, but what I'm saying is even if we do break out from here and we start to run, it might do something like this. It might consolidate for 2 years until like here, and then we can run. Who knows? But that's really what we're looking for. Like we're maybe halfway through this. Maybe we've hit the bottom point, the lowest point. Maybe 25K is the lowest point Bitcoin drops, and then we start to consolidate up. But it's going to take a while of consolidation before we start to see that run. However, there is still a possibility of getting in on this run. Hopefully we don't see this. I mean, this took weeks of consolidation. You can see here. I just want to go back to this, movement here. If it lets me. This is crazy. We're going to just try to get here. Okay, you can see the movement here. This was not a lot of movement. I just want to let you guys know. From like 2018, this was such a boring, unpleasant month, and I hope that it doesn't happen again. But you can see prices really didn't go above 4,000, and they really didn't dip below 3,200. So we pretty much played sideways for weeks. We played sideways for 127 days, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 months of just sideways consolidation, which is insane. We don't have that. We've had 20 days of consolidation right now. So it's just something to think about, that there's a lot of possibilities of consolidation, sideways movement that could come before we see any sort of substantial run. However, it's still bullish, and these are great prices. So if we can break through this, we're only trading short term, but if we were to break through this, we could expect to see a pretty substantial run back up to at least moving averages, short-term trades. Same thing with Ethereum and a lot of these cryptos. Most of them have at some point bottomed off a couple of days ago here, marking low points for the markets, which should start to see prices pump. So let's just wait for confirmation. Same thing with XRP. Let's wait to break through the Bollinger Bands and this resistance here before we decide, hey, let's buy in, so let's let the conservative markets play out before we do any sort of crazy trading. Otherwise, that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video. I'd like to see how the S&P opens. I mean, a lot of people are still hesitant that we could be dumping lower. It's very possible. The Feds have to say, okay, I think we've done enough quantitative easing and it's time to swing up. A lot of the markets, a lot of the Feds, the Federal Reserve might think, okay, maybe we don't need to sell off as much in the balance sheet because, hey, we've pretty much tank the market 20%. We don't want it to really go that much lower. There's a lot of things. They could lower the bond rates. They could, stop selling off their balance sheet. They could stop raising interest rates, although there's a good chance they're going to continue to raise interest rates. But we've seen on numerous occasions, even in 2018, that even though they raise interest rates, doesn't necessarily mean the market's going to tank. Typically, what we see is the initial release of news or the initial interest rate hike does cause a dip. But during this whole time period of 2018 into 2020, they were raising interest rates. Or I believe even in here, they were raising interest rates, and we continue to spiral upwards. So it's something to think about. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the biggest impact on the markets. But that's going to wrap up today's video. Definitely make sure to check out my finance channel, subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.